All right, so here we go. Luffy starts to notice the change of his body and announces Gear 5th. Conqueror's haki spills through from the roof and knocks out some of the beast pirates. Kaido realizes what's happening and questions it. Then we see Luffy's giant arm grab Kaido and pulls him through the hole he made in the roof. Kaido's eyes pop out like a cartoon. Luffy blows up and starts spinning and slamming Kaido. Kaido's eyes are still popping out of his head like a cartoon. Luffy's laughing the entire time, and Kaido's seeing stars around his head because he's so dizzy from all the spinning and slamming. Kaido's had enough and shoots Boro's breath at Luffy. Luffy gets up from laughing on his back, and his eyes pop out like a cartoon at the incoming Boro breath. Luffy decides to grab the skull of Onigashima and lift it up by turning it into rubber to deflect the blast back at Kaido. Kaido notices it, gets shocked by what Luffy's about to do, and the Boro blast hits him back in the face. Luffy laughs, and Kaido apologizes to Luffy for the CP0 agent's interference. Luffy tells him, "Don't worry about it. Let's finish this up." How do you feel about this, Law?
So Luffy's a cartoon character. That's pretty much what we can understand from this, right? Like I mentioned before about his haki and about his it was weird because like Kaido didn't sense it right away. Mm-hmm. I thought that was weird because even when his man got knocked out, he was like, "What is it, men?" Then he's like, "What is up there?" So that's what I was mentioning before. I didn't want to get into it. Like maybe you sense something different with Luffy. It's like, is that Luffy? Is something familiar, but there's something different about him that it's like you're not sensing kind of like the same person, you know? Because like Kaido was able to sense that Big Mom was defeated.
You said Big Mama?
Big
I like
Mama.
that.
Big
I
Mama
like that
was
one, yo.
You know, Big
I gotta
Mama
start calling her Big Mama.
But yeah, Big Mom was defeated, right? So, but he didn't sense Luffy right away, and then him just pulling Kaido up there just shows like monstrous strength. You know, just pull Kaido like that, and it seems like Luffy's like we talk about imagination, like a cartoon character. Like the freeness of his fighting ability is kind of like a cartoon where like it's just the fakeness of a cartoon, how you're able to do whatever you want all the time. Is that what we're tapping into with Luffy's ability is now? You know, like he's even making like Kaido a cartoon character. So it's like, what does this mean for like your strength? Because we know, like even whoever runs that movie, Who Framed Roger Rabbit, it was like you couldn't even kill a cartoon. You know, so like, what are we tapping into now with Luffy's ability? Is he? And also, so I want to know is like, is he always going to be like this, or is it just like a form he can transform into? You know?
Yeah.
Because I kind of feel like would that take away from the show if he's always like this all the time?
No, he's not going to be like, because Sengoku's not. So it's not going to be that.
I was thinking awakening, you know? So hopefully it's like a transformation where he'll be able to tap into it. So then, and him slamming Kaido too, I don't know if you guys check it, but a little bit of blood comes out of Kaido's mouth.
It does.
Right? And then Kaido does shake it off like, he's just like, and he also like thanks Luffy for surviving and then apologizes, you know, for what happened because he didn't want to win that way. So it's very interesting, like, I want to see the extent of what this means in the fight for, like, is he just going to dominate Kaido now? Because we talked about this before, but again, this is Luffy's strength now. And it's Luffy's conscious, him fighting, so it's not a takeover, right?
Yeah, so glad it's not possession.
Exactly.
Right.
Yeah. Exactly. So Oda did help us out there with, like, his creative ability and not making it a possession, that it's actually Luffy. So, but yeah,
what about you, Seb?
All right, so I loved and hated this at the same time for a couple reasons. So for those of y'all that know me in the Discord, I'm all about Luffy being the apex of angry when he's fighting the final big boss. And if he's gonna be laughing when he's fighting Kaido, that rubs me the wrong way. But the fight in itself and him battling Kaido in the moment, slamming him like a cartoon character, eyes popping out, looking like Popeye the Sailor Man and Bugs Bunny and all those cartoons from when we were kids and when I was a kid. Like, I did actually love seeing that. Like, when Luffy grabbed the floor and pulled it up to make I loved seeing that. I loved Luffy's eyes popping out. I loved seeing him laughing in that moment. I just don't want that for the finale of a major fight like this. I want Luffy versus Lucci, Luffy versus Arlong, Luffy versus Crocodile kind of, animosity. So as long as we get that later, I'm fine with this. But if the fight stays where they're laughing and stuff, I might not like it so much. I did love what Luffy's able to do. Like, just being a cartoon. Again, the fruit made Luffy Luffy. Like, it made him the most Luffy he could be. But the version of Luffy that I love when they're chilling and hanging out, not the version of Luffy I love when he's fighting people.
Yeah.
So, it's like, again, I loved it and I hated it. Visually, I thought it was stunning, though. I thought it was really good.
Yeah.
Even just the final reveal with him laughing, and I thought that looked great. Him changing form so consistently, I thought that was great.
And looks like he's able to affect his area, like the ground with rubber. So
and every attack had King's Disposition Hockey attached to it in some way. Like, you can see the lightning sparks. And I really did like Kaido because he was like, yo, what's up there? And then he got yoked up and slammed and starts getting bodied and stuff. And his reaction is, Straw Hat, you survived. Thank you. You know what I mean? Like, I appreciate you being able to survive that. I thought you were dead. I thought I wasn't fighting no more. Him saying, I'm sorry for the dude earlier. Like, it's dope to me. I want that. You know what I mean? I said I want sizzling beef, bro. I want it to be so. Just
Shake
get
and
to
bake.
that. Shake and bake. Just get to that.
When do you think
and we
he's
good.
gonna realize that Luffy is Joy Boy?
He'll probably realize it pretty soon.
He's gonna get Chris Rock slapped in the face. And he'll realize it then.
Yeah.
But what do you think, Larry?
So this is the huge issue. This is why I think the One Piece community is so split. Like, we have somebody that's like a huge fan of our channel, Empirical Purity, literally said in one of the comments after they read the chapter that they were going to take a break from One Piece after reading what they just read. And I think this is what I want to say to everybody that enjoys One Piece and loves it, right? It adds something to your life. That this is art coming from a guy who's also human. And I think that the way you perceive art is also going to perceive, like, how you feel about it. You know what I'm saying? So, like, for me, example, like, I'm always going to have a different opinion from these guys because I enjoy One Piece in a different way than they do. So I think that everybody needs to realize, like, you don't need to drop One Piece, but you can dislike some parts of it. And for me, I had to sit down and really discuss, like, do I want to continue watching One Piece? Like, do I want to keep reading One Piece? Like, I have an entire show with you guys, right, about One Piece because I share that love and passion. But my love and passion was challenged by this chapter. I look at Luffy and I say to myself, this is a guy who based all his fights off of his own willpower and creativity and did the best he could do with a fruit that wasn't that great. He went to having a fruit that wasn't that great to possibly having the number one fruit in the game. You know how that feels to, like, all the previous fights that we've ever been with Luffy through? To know that he really had this one fruit that is probably the most dominant fruit in the game. And why do I say the most dominant, right? This is where everybody's making those funny comparison and memes with, like, TOONs, right? Those TOONs and their powers are beyond ridiculous. The mask, I don't know if anybody knows the mask. The mask himself can, like, tear apart the universe if he felt like it because TOONs don't follow physics. They don't follow anything. They do whatever they please because they have the freedom to do whatever they please. That's why they're TOONs. So if Luffy has a TOON fruit, he's unbeatable. And it also explains why he's never truly lost when we all considered him to be like, yo, you're getting dominated by Katakuri. Why is Katakuri now losing? And Katakuri has no pop. Now we know why Katakuri has no pop. It's because this Devil Fruit doesn't allow that to happen. Even with Kaido doing what Kaido's doing, it still never allowed Luffy to truly be defeated. Because in some shape or form, Luffy can also just be like, well, I'm tapping into this power a little bit and I have the freedom to say, I don't want to be defeated. Like, it's not of his own will anymore. Like, Oda took from me the willpower out of Luffy. He took from me everything that made Luffy special and showed that all the struggles that Luffy was struggling for or, was doing for himself actually just wasn't all him. It was more the Devil Fruit than anything else. at this point for me. So when I see my character, who I look at as like a guy that inspires me to do more than I could, you know what I'm saying? It's just not there anymore now. Like, I don't have that same love for Luffy that I had before this. It's completely different. I look at Luffy in a different light. I don't think anybody beats Luffy at this point. I think Luffy's probably number one in the game, just based on like what he can do now, his awakening, and plus he's probably never going to be defeated based on the devil fruit that he has. His devil fruit has completely changed, to me, for the worse. So I had to sit down and really be like, yo, do I want to continue One Piece? And I said to myself, like, yeah, like, I enjoy this. I like the fact that Luffy needed this. You know what I'm saying? Like, he needed this to beat Kaido. Like, this is the only route that he had to in order to beat Kaido. But the same thing remains. He wasn't ready for Kaido. He needed more time. And the fact is, Oda really missed the landing on this because he didn't have that time. He didn't give Luffy that experience to do what we needed him to do. Instead, he power scaled everybody up. So everybody feels like this arc is amazing because it provides us all the necessary things that we expected to happen during this arc. But I think Oda's delivery missed. And completely. So
That's fair.
in a way, like, I don't view Luffy the same. Now he's an alien. He's basically Naruto. Like at the end when Naruto became an alien, Sasuke became an alien. He's like, you know, they're calling him like the pirate Jesus now instead of like the ninja Jesus.
He was
because
already that.
they you know how we always get on Ichigo for being everything.
Yeah.
And it gave him the powers to do whatever he wanted. Luffy now has that, bro. You know what I'm saying? Like, this is his Kurama. Like, Luffy just got revived from being dead because he has this fruit. Like, if that doesn't make you think, like, there's no way that nobody beats him, like, then what are we talking about?
So, I get everything you're saying. Like, I do. I really do. But to discount Luffy's victories and losses and defeats before this, like, he still lost fights. He still ended up losing fights. He just didn't end up dying from them. You know what I mean?
But that's the point. There was never a chance of him ever dying.
You think back in Alabasta, if he died in that moment, he would have been revived?
Yes.
I 1,000,000,000,000% disagree with you. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? I just don't believe
Listen, you can't tell me that he wouldn't have.
What do you mean?
Because
it's been clear that he needed to achieve what he got to. Like, he had to unlock, like, sky-splitting kind of conquerors.
That's not true either.
He had to do all this other stuff,
No,
bro.
that's not true either. Luffy could have still unlocked or awakened at that point, even though he didn't have to go through all those gears. He didn't have to assume what type of hockey. The same way you can't prove it, I can't prove it either, but I can tell you this, he died. And then he got revived. So if I'm to assume that if Luffy died during Alabasta, he probably would have revived still.
Can I add something?
Yeah, go ahead.
So, like both what you guys said is like we can't
Not
prove
yet.
either. So like I understand that. One thing I will say I want to add, but like this fruit kind of reminds me of something else, and we don't know the full scope of this fruit, but I kind of feel like maybe Oda put it there for a reason, introducing Kaido's fruit. Remember when we first heard it was the fish fruit, but now it's a dragon, right? But it's saying that in the beginning maybe it started off as a fish, but through all the struggles, eventually it awakened into a dragon. What if Luffy's fruit was very similar? Where like in the beginning, because in the beginning of the show, right, we see Luffy's strength now, whatever, but he wasn't like the granted, even with the dragon fruit, Kaido was still a freak of nature and a monster. He was an Oni or whatever. But Big Mom, Gold Roger, Luffy started off kind of very, very weak, then grew to a great strength, right? Yes, he had this ability, but what if all those trials helped him grow his own? Because to me, I believe it was all his will at first. But then his will brought him somewhere where he couldn't match up to it. Kaido too early, right? Then he died, and then that allowed him to awaken into his own dragon like Kaido did, starting off weak in the beginning. That's what I'm seeing it.
So I'll just say this, and then we'll head to the phone lines.
Yeah.
The reason why I don't agree with that is why. Because Kaido's an animal. Ultimately, he's just an animal. He's a mythical animal. Luffy's an actual deity. That's a huge difference. Like, a huge difference. So Luffy has been affected since he ate the fruit. Because even after he ate the fruit, there was that panel, right, that Traverse posted where he said he stretched his lips and he was like, yo, after I ate the gum fruit, I got happier. He was already affected by Nika. So it's like, even if he died right then and there, I think that there would have been something that would have happened to him to revive him.
Then how do you explain the fruit trying to get captured this whole other time? Like, other people have had this fruit and died.
We don't know.
Like, somebody had this fruit and died at some point. You know what I mean?
I get that too, but it's like we don't know anything that ever happened with those other people. For all we know, that they could have just died of old age.
Yeah, we got to find out more because
we need to find out more.
Because going what you said, the Gorosei clearly said though that the fruits
the
do
Zoans,
have a will.
They have a will of their own.
So that could mean something. Like you said,
it could have literally
just
just woken Luffy up. But anyway, let's hit those calls. I don't know, man. It was hard for me, man. I had to stay away from Discord. It was either I was
Discord was popping this week. You had fun.
I know, and I wanted to join, but I was just like, man, I just can't. Like I'm too. It's either I'm too fatigued because it was everywhere and I couldn't escape it, or it was just like it was #1 on Twitter worldwide. The chapter.
Yeah. Oh, we got a call.